Did you hear about the ghost who got lost in the fog?
No.
He will be missed.
Oh,
There's a play on words.
I know.
Hiya, girls. How are you?
Yeah. Yay.
doing great.
It's good to
Yep.
see you.
Good
It's
to
nice
see
to see
you.
We only do this once a week, but I wish we did it every single day. I would love to hang out with you guys every day.
Every day.
Maybe someday
For
that'll
sure.
be this will be our job.
I know, right? Exactly. Every day.
And hiya to all the listeners.
Yeah.
We have been getting tons of comments, so we're really excited because today we're going to give the hat away.
Yay! Yeah,
We're
we
drawing
got
for
lots
the
of-
hat. Okay.
That's right. Yeah, we got great comments on the last podcast. And so I was just going to go ahead and read the names. I was going to read the comments because we appreciate them so much. So the first person to go in the hat is that Burke wife. And her comment was that this was so cute. She loves learning about Jana, and the ending had me in tears, hearing what she means to you. I can't wait to listen to the next lady on the love hot seat. So that was
All
sweet.
right.
Oh, that's
So we
nice.
appreciate that.
Thank you, Burke
And
wife.
then, yes, thank you, Burke wife. My gosh, sorry. And then the next one is Jules Girl 63. So, and she said, it's so great to see you guys in the morning. Laughter is great. So that was awesome.
Ah,
The next one is
so true.
Lori Stewart 4804. I love getting to know y'all and hear a little about each of you. By the way, I made the bed today. Great takeaway.
That's
Pretty
cute.
funny. Yeah.
That's cute.
Then Tanya Cheney 3574 said, just saw Jana last night at the lake. Love you guys. Totally addicted to the pods now.
Oh, that's
Super
great.
sweet. Yes. And then
Aw.
Robert Jerovec 5156. Love the hats. How can I get one? Well, you are in the drawing. So
You're in the drawing.
Who's
Yeah.
the Robert on Shark Tank? What's his name?
I don't want Shark
I
Tank.
don't know. I don't know.
You think it's this Robert? You think the
Oh.
Shark Tank Robert is watching us?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he wears our hat on Shark Tank
I know. My God.
and he's like, hiya.
Hiya.
Yeah.
All right, here we
All
go.
right,
Ready?
Here we go.
Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it?
Drum roll.
Tanya Cheney.
Tanya Cheney. Woo woo. All right. Yay. Awesome. It's
This
amazing.
beautiful hat
We hope
is
you wear
all
it everywhere.
yours.
That's right. We hope you wear it everywhere.
We will put our email down in the bottom of the at the bottom of this podcast. All you have to do is reach out and email us. Let us know if we can send it out to you.
Okay,
That'd be great.
How do you spell Robert's last name on the comments?
Let me look. It's this. Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's J.
IROVE.
Okay, because
C.
this Robert from Shark Tank is HERJAVEC.
It's
So it was
close.
close. Dang it. Robert, if you're listening from Shark Tank, could you go ahead and just reach out? We'd appreciate it. Thank you. We're talking about you, man. Come on.
Be really helpful.
And what about
Thanks
the Robert
so
we
much.
do have? You want to give a shout out to him?
Yeah.
Robert, you're even better than
Yes.
the other guy.
That's
For
right.
real.
But hey, try again for another hat, though. There's more.
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, let's move on to the I am statements. I'll start.
All right.
So my I am statement this day is I am aware that there is more to this life than what we can see.
Ooh, appropriate for the topic today, too.
Very nice.
Brad.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
What do you got, Jana?
Mine is I am excited to see what abundance is coming my way.
Oh, good.
Mine is very simple. Mine is I am doing just fine.
Oh, I like that.
There
I
you go.
really
I'm
like
just
that.
trying to remind
Yeah,
myself I'm
that's
doing just
I'm
right.
doing just
fine.
fine.
That's right.
That's a good
It's
that's a
okay.
good even level to be on though.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Yes,
Very
it
good.
is. Perfect.
So this week I wanted to talk about the paranormal.
Yay.
So basically it's just to kind of give you the scope. I'm sure everybody out there knows paranormal, but it's really just phenomena beyond the scope of normal scientific understanding. It could be anything from telepathy, clairvoyance, miracles, ghosts, angels, healing energy. It's just anything that is outside the normal scope of what we would consider scientifically measurable.
Right.
And so I just thought it might be fun to talk about if we in our lives have ever had those experiences. And just to put this fun fact out there, they had a survey, and it's the yougov.com survey, and in 2022 they said that 67% of US citizens, adult citizens, believe that they have had a paranormal activity of some sort. That's a
Yeah.
lot,
That's a lot.
67%.
Yeah.
It is a
And
lot.
according to Pew, they said 75%. So the Pew did another survey, and they said that they got back 3 out of 4 people said that they have
wow.
had a supernatural paranormal experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
hearing stories. Like it's one of my favorite
I do
things.
too.
It is
Yeah.
me too.
Yes,
Me too.
I love it. You've got
Yeah.
some good ones, Tish. I remember.
Yeah. Jana, you also have some good ones. I remember tons of different things going on.
Yeah. I've had a few pretty good ones. I mean, sometimes it's just little things and you're like, ooh, that's a coincidence or, whatever. But
Yeah.
the one that I think is so like, it really happened. It was really real, felt paranormal for sure is my father-in-law lived with us for many, many years in our house. And when he passed, it was soon after. I can't really remember timeline. It was quite a bit ago. But first, what happened is every night, in the middle of the night, the fire detector kept going off like low battery. You know how it beeps? Well, we had
Yeah.
this really tall ceiling. I had to go get the ladder, to get to the ceiling, take it
geez.
down. But the first one that went out was in his room. And then the second night that it happened, it was all in the same week. Was in the play area, which is the room, and then my boys were on the other side. He was on one side, and then the third night was in my son Matthew's room. So anyway, so that was kind of like whatever happened. So it was really weird that they were all going out in the same week, and then
Yeah.
this around the same time period, the boys, my ex-husband, they had left for the day. It was like a Saturday, and I laid down to take a nap. I was really tired, and all of a sudden I woke up to a TV blaring. I mean, really loud, and I was just so ticked off that my nap got ruined. So I went out there and I turned it off, and I went back and laid down. And I was just really mad about it, not even thinking that the TV went on all by
Like
itself.
who
And
turned it on?
Yeah.
Right.
but when it all started, when I went back to think about it, it was because when my kids started watching that same TV, the channels would start switching in the middle of their show. And it happened on numerous occasions.
wild.
Numerous
Wow.
occasions. So it wasn't like it was a one and done sort of thing. But so then when I did get a divorce, well, I actually brought that TV with me, and I never had another issue with it. Like it never
Really?
changed channels. It never, yeah, it was really crazy. So anyway, I don't know, that I felt like it was very timely, because it's not like it went on and on and on for months or years or whatever. It was just really right after his passing. So I felt like it was sort of a way to say, hey, I'm still I'm still here. I'm still hanging around. I'm looking over you, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
it was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
sure.
that's wild. I've always been a believer anyway in things that you can't see. Like I'm convinced that especially after sort of reading a little bit about quantum physics, everything is it has energy and form,
Right.
you know. So they've even had to change, instead of saying particle, now they have to say wave particle, because quantum physics has changed everything in the sense of you can't assign anything just and say it's just matter anymore. You have to say that there's a waveform to it because
Wow.
it can change. So I've always been a believer that there's so much more out there available and able to harness and energy and all of that, right? But when my mom passed, I was sitting in her bedroom with my brother. He's the youngest of three, and he was sitting in her chair that she used to watch TV, and I was sitting on the other side on the bed, and in between us was a lamp, and it was on, and we both started talking about her, and the lamp started flickering like crazy, and to where you could hear it. You know, when you hear
Yeah.
it, you think the
Yes.
bulb's going to pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought the bulb was going to pop. I thought the bulb was just going out. So I quickly jumped up and turned it off, just thinking the bulb was going to pop.
Yeah.
And then we both kind of looked at each other and chuckled, not thinking. And then an hour later, my sister came in and I turned the light back on because it's the only light she has in the whole room. There's no overhead. And we turned the light back on, and within 5 minutes of us talking, and it started going off again.
Wow.
And it scared me so bad because it was so fresh. Like my mom had just passed. We were in the house getting together all her arrangements and stuff. And it scared me so bad. But since then, that flashing, flickering light is really a big indicator for me.
Yeah.
Like there have been things that I've gone through with my sister, and I have a light in the corner. I've since redone the bedroom, and there's a light in the corner that has battery. It's battery operated from IKEA, and the batteries are dead. They've been dead for 4 years, right? I mean, I put these in like years ago,
Yeah.
and that thing will go off at very specific times when
Oh,
we're
wow.
having some major things go on. That thing will come on, and I'll wake up in the night like, what's that? Because I'm a light sleeper, and I could tell like a light's
Yeah.
on, and I'll wake up scared because I live alone, and it'll be that light it goes on, and then it just goes off.
Wow.
And yet it'll stay off forever. Like I haven't seen it in months, but in January we were
gosh.
going through some stuff. It kept going on. I was like, this is crazy.
So interesting.
Well, she had, I didn't know your mom, but from what I hear, she was so alive and so much spirit in her. And that just doesn't surprise me a bit.
No, it doesn't surprise me at all either.
That
Plus she was really connected to energy all her life.
Yeah.
Like she would tell people at the last 10 or 15 years, she would tell people, no, you can't come in my house with that. If you're not feeling good, don't come in here because I don't want that energy. And I was like, oh, that's smart. You know, it's really good. She was funny. Yeah.
Wow.
We had a situation when my dad died, and it's usually my mom that receives his messages. Like I get the messages kind of with birds and different songs that come on, but my mom has these tangible things that happens to her. The first thing that happened was probably a week after he passed. She was laying on the couch, and behind her was a bookshelf, and she's laying there resting on the couch that he laid on all the time, especially when he was sick. And all of a sudden a book flies from the bookshelf beside her, lands on the ground.
Gosh.
And she freaked her out, and she looked over, and it was a book dealing with grief.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
And
oh
so
my gosh.
she freaks out about this stuff. And then he has in their bedroom, they have an armoire that it's pretty hard to get the doors open. Like it's not it just flies open. Like you have to put a little oomph into it to get the door open. Since he's passed it's been 5 or 6 years, that door keeps popping open in the middle of the night, and she wakes up and it's open. And it scares her, so she goes and closes it. The next week, it's open again. Like he keeps opening that damn door on her, and she gets freaked out. And I'm like, Mom, this is really cool. Like he is you.
Yes.
and he won't leave the door
Oh, that's so
closed.
neat.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
love
it's
that.
just
I think that's
cool.
so cool that, I mean, that's the thing too, is like when all of that was happening, like it wasn't scary. It's kind
Yeah.
of cool. Like, and I think for me, I lost my mom and my dad within a 2 year period. And, um, I feel like I'm trying so hard to get messages. Like I would love, 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 and, I think I'm probably not letting them in because I'm trying so hard kind of thing. But I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing I could think of, like my dad, you know how everybody says, oh, when you see a cardinal, it's the person that passed or whatever. And I kept thinking,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, my dad is not a cardinal. Like there's no way. And there was a
Yeah.
day that alls I found were quarters everywhere. And I like got out of my car and there were a few quarters on the ground and I just kind of threw them in my car. Well, then I found more quarters like at home. It was like all in one day and it was weird. I was like, what the hell is with all these quarters? And it hit me. I was like, that's my dad. That's totally my dad. My dad loved coins. He collected coins. He had
Yes.
money jars
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's him. Like it's gotta be. So I don't know. But stuff like
Yeah.
that is I don't know. It's comforting almost, to know
It
that
is
person's there.
comforting.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you're open.
Have you ever felt like a presence? Not talking about like parents and
no, I know.
passings and things like
Yeah.
that. Like, have you ever?
I feel
I
like I
Yeah.
have,
can,
but it was
yeah.
God. And it was a dream. And he held my
Oh, yeah.
leg.
Really?
Wow.
So I had just gotten shot with a bow and arrow because I
Oh my
was
God.
bringing sandwiches to the Indians.
All right. This is a dream. Let's be
Normal dream.
clear here, right?
Normal dream. Normal dream. Yeah, I was bringing in the battlefield. I was bringing sandwiches to the
Some
Indians,
sandwiches.
and
They needed
I
a
got
sandwich.
shot with a bow and arrow in my leg. And in my
Oh my
dream
God.
or in real life, I was like, oh, like I felt it. And then God, or I believe
Yeah.
God, came and put his hand on my other leg and said, you are just fine. You will be
Oh,
fine.
wow.
And I
Wow.
Wow.
felt the arrow and I
That's
felt the
cool.
hand.
In
Yeah.
real life,
That's
Yes.
really cool.
like laying in your
Yeah.
bed. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So
That's very cool.
that's
When I was married, we moved to St. Louis and we rented a really old house and tiny little house. And we would be in our room at night, and it was only when you do marital things. And I'm not kidding. Like I actually felt like some man was watching us,
oh wow.
and it was so distracting. And I never told my ex-husband. I never said anything at the time because it was so real to me that
Yeah.
I just couldn't like function. I was like, I can't do this because I felt like somebody was watching. And it happened for months, and I would never go down in the basement. Like the whole house used to creep me out. And I called my mom one day and finally talked about it because I was so upset because I couldn't go down and do the laundry or anything. I'd always have to wait for him to get home because I felt like there was this male presence in there.
Oh
Wow.
And not that
gosh.
it was
Wow.
mean. It's not that I
Yeah.
thought that it was menacing. It was just there.
Palpable.
Yeah.
And my mom said to me, look, you have to start talking and saying, I'm sorry, but could you please go somewhere else? Because I realize, that we're in your home or we're in your space, but I can't live like this. Like I'm scared. And I would ask that you leave. And I went through every single room in that house, just like almost like a prayer, like a silent, but I said it
Yeah.
out loud. But like in my mind, I was trying to be as loving as possible. And it's the craziest thing. Obviously, well, not obviously, but it could obviously be psychological. I'm sure that's what most people are going to say. But it's the craziest thing. Like I never once had a problem after that.
Really?
Not once.
It's
Like
interesting.
I loved the house. Like in the end, I absolutely loved the house. I never felt that fear or that uncomfortableness again. And yeah, but I mean, it was thick, like I could feel that somebody was right there.
Yeah.
It's wild how even just when somebody's behind you, I find that such a strange phenomenon when somebody's behind you,
Yeah.
or somebody's looking in the window and you look up and they're there and you're so startled that you're right, like
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like my sister will be coming over or something, and she'll look in the window, and I kind of feel it before she's ever there.
Yeah.
It's a weird
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I had a situation where I was on a patio drinking margaritas. Imagine that. And I had a vision of this police officer that I treated at the hospital that I was at. When I was doing adults, I treated a police officer that had been in a car accident. And I had this vision of him, and I was telling the girl I was with about this guy. Like, he was so cool. His parents were so neat. Like, I got really close to his parents, and it was such a sad situation because he had a traumatic brain injury, and it was just sad. I'll be damned if I didn't go home, read in the paper that he passed the day before.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so I feel like, and I hope that this is true, I hope that when we pass, every person that we have touched as we're leaving remembers us. Like, wouldn't that
Yeah.
be
Mhm.
a really cool
Yeah.
thing to
Would be
believe?
nice.
Is that
Yeah.
everybody that you've ever touched, that they think of you like, oh,
Yeah.
Jennifer was so nice.
Yeah. Like
Jennifer
little
was so
passing
nice.
thoughts. Yeah. I say maybe they do. I mean, that probably you don't. I mean, how would you really know? But wouldn't that would be so interesting to see
Yeah.
that happen, to be able to see it.
Yeah. Something that was interesting that I looked up while I was, I just did a little bit of research when I was trying to think about this topic, but I thought this was interesting. The CIA published documents in 2017 about it was after the Freedom of Information Act came out
Yeah.
regarding the project called Stargate.
Yeah.
And it was between 1972 and 1995. There are 12 million pages on this. It's on cia.gov
Wow.
/reading room, just in case anybody's interested. But they have a massive document that talks about, at that time, the USSR was about 25 years ahead of us in studying paranormal activity as well as paranormal abilities. And I just read through a few pages of it, but it talked about remote viewing. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about that, but you have people in a room that are more sensitive to almost like clairvoyance, if you will,
Right.
but they see things, and they worked with psychologists and physicists work with a group of people that could remotely see. So they would help them track down like fugitives or hostages that were taken in. They would also help them map out facilities. So for their own security, if they were
Wow.
ever to go to war, they could see facilities. And when they looked at what these people were doing and documenting, and they would actually try and check if those things were correct. I think it was 60 or 70% accurate for some people. Not everybody they had in there, but some people were highly accurate. They also did something called apportation. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but this was crazy, where something would be in one place
Yeah.
and then it would actually appear in another place. And then it could go back and reappear in that other place, so that they could almost like take it apart into its energy form, transfer it over in their mind, these people, into another place, and then transfer it back. So, for example, like a document that was top secret, a government could have somebody who had this ability transfer that over. I'm not saying it's valid or anything like that. I'm just saying this was part of the National Security Archive.
Wow.
12 million pages of incidents that they have recorded between those years that talked about all of these telepathic and apportation, ESP, and remote viewing incidences
Yeah.
that were documented. And then they gave their opinion on it. And they were saying that they were 25 years ahead of any other country out there.
Wow.
I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
That is.
how quickly a lot of people discount these paranormal accounts or abilities, and they're actually used out there.
Yeah.
They're actually being used and being tested.
And have been for quite some time.
Yeah.
That's right.
What about
And have been.
mediums? You
Oh
guys ever
yeah.
watch that show about the medium
Oh,
on
I love
TV?
them.
He goes to,
Yes, I love
oh,
them all of
Who,
them.
like Tyler?
yeah.
Tyler and
Yeah, I like him.
the blonde lady.
Is
Oh
she
my
Italian?
gosh. Yeah, she got long nails and she has like her big white hair. Oh, why can't I think of her
Yeah.
name? I love her so much,
Does
but
she have a show?
yes. Her last name's Caputo or something
Yep.
like that, right?
I love
Anyway.
that stuff though.
Yeah, I do too.
I do too.
Yeah.
I would,
It is definitely my favorite topic.
yeah, I would love like if any of our people that are listening could share their stories. Like that's one of my favorite things to
Yes.
hear different
Me
people's
too.
stories because it's like my
Yeah.
cousin when her mom died, my aunt who was really cool, she said she had a dream that her mom called her and said, "Hey, I just got here. I'm taking care of the kids. Everything's fine."
Oh, you're
It's
kidding
just
me.
stuff
Oh my
like
gosh.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Or near
Yeah.
death experiences. I
Yes.
watch them all night long before I go to bed. They're so beautiful. Most
Really?
of them are so
Yeah.
They
beautiful.
are all
Yeah.
beautiful, most of them.
That's the crazy thing. Like, it's very rare that I've ever heard any one of them that's negative. And I think at this point I've watched hundreds because
Okay.
I've watched
I've
them
heard
through the
though,
years.
I think I read a book or something about near death experiences and how it was so life changing that they felt isolated. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it
Yeah, I've
Oh,
changed.
heard that. Yeah.
Like it was a positive and an incredible experience, but nobody could relate to them almost. So it was like
ah,
I don't know.
they're just on a
So
different
they did
level.
have they had some struggles because of it because they were just so on a different level than everybody else. So anyway,
Yeah,
it's
I
interesting.
can see that.
I hear a lot of them say that they experience depression afterwards because they wish
Yes.
that they could have stayed in that
Yes.
state.
Wow.
Yes.
So yeah, that I can imagine, if it's
Yeah.
that beautiful.
Yeah,
For sure.
Right.
Can we get a golden nugget out of this?
What would if that's the kind of thing that you're interested in or whatever, it is about being open to it. I think people, if you're closed off and don't want to believe it or whatever, it's not going to happen to you, because you're not going to get that
Yeah.
energy or that whatever.
So many people experience these things. There has to be some truth to it. And if you, like you said, if you're open, if your energy is accepting of signs or messages or energies that from elsewhere, there's probably a lot that we can learn. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. I imagine there's a
true.
ton we can learn. Another thing to keep in mind is a lot of what's in the New Testament and the Old Testament is about miracles, angels,
Yeah.
right? So it's the same exact idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things that
That's a good
happen that
point.
cannot be scientifically measured. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. Good
I
point.
just don't think it's something we have to be afraid of.
Right.
Yeah.
Something that we can embrace.
Yeah.
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 All right. Ladies and gentlemen, our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We hope that you have a really great week and that you get some signs from loved ones maybe or some messages. And if you do, put them in the comment. We want to hear it. Have a good week. We'll see you next week.
All right.
Yep. Sounds great.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sending you lots of positive vibes.
Yes.
That's right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.